The story of life in New Caledonia begins with the land itself. On the west coast, the earth is dry and ancient, a landscape of cattle ranches and wide open spaces where the identity of the Broussards, the settlers of the countryside, was forged. Cross the central mountain chain, and the world transforms. Here on the east coast, the air is heavy with humidity. This is the heartland of Kanak culture, a world of deep valleys, winding rivers, and a profound spiritual connection between the people and their ancestral land. Then travel south, and the earth changes color again. This is the red earth of the Great South, the source of the nickel that has funded New Caledonia's modern existence for more than a century. It is a landscape of wealth and consequence, the engine of the economy, and all of it is surrounded by the impossible blue of a lagoon that holds these different worlds together. Within this single territory, the land itself dictates different ways of life, different histories, and different futures. And then there is Noumea, a city that seems to have been lifted from the coast of France and placed in the middle of the Pacific. It is here that most people live, their lives shaped less by the soil and more by the rhythms of a cash economy, French administration, and global connections. How do people from these vastly different landscapes live together as one nation? How does the rancher from the west, the clan member from the east, and the office worker from the city share this single, extraordinary home? This is the story of New Caledonia. A day in New Caledonia begins with the sun, but it is quickly governed by the clock. In Noumea and the urban areas surrounding it, Doumbéa, Mondor, Païta, where the majority of the population lives, the morning rush feels familiar, almost European. The first sounds are not of tropical birds, but of scooters weaving through traffic and the rumble of city buses. People commute to work in offices, shops, and government buildings. The air fills with the scent of fresh bread from the hundreds of boulangeries, a ritual as essential here as it is in Lyon or Marseille. Pharmacies raise their green crosses, banks open their doors, and the city settles into a day of commerce and administration. This is the economic and administrative heart of the territory. It is a city built by the sea, a hub of commerce and opportunity that has drawn people from all of New Caledonia's diverse communities and from France itself. Life here is structured, modern, and for many, comfortable. The city is a magnet for opportunity. It is home to the territory's only university, its largest hospitals, and the vast majority of its jobs in the public sector, finance, and retail. This has created a diverse, multicultural society. There are the people of European descent, known as Caledochis, whose families may have been here for generations, arriving as early as the mid-19th century. Their identity is not French, but distinctly New Caledonian, deeply rooted in this land, often as farmers, ranchers, and business owners. Their history is written in the red earth of the West Coast. Then there are those who have arrived more recently from mainland France, known as metros, often for fixed-term work contracts in education, healthcare, or public service. They bring a direct connection to contemporary France, but can sometimes feel like temporary residents in a society with deep, long-standing roots. And there are the Kanak families, who have moved to the city for work and education, navigating a world that is often very different from their home villages, balancing the demands of urban life with the obligations of custom and clan. Alongside them are communities from Wallis and Futuna, Tahiti, Vietnam, and Indonesia, each adding another layer to the city's complex identity. Their presence a legacy of France's colonial history and labor movements in the Pacific. To walk through Noumea is to experience this constant, fascinating blend of cultures. The language of the street is French. The architecture in the city center has a colonial French Riviera feel with wrought iron balconies and shaded squares. In the central Place des Cocotiers, old men play pétanque under the flame trees, a scene straight from a village in Provence. Yet just a few meters away, the Port Moselle market is alive with the vibrant colors and smells of the Pacific. Here, Kanak women from nearby tribes sell their produce, their tables piled high with yams, taro, chocos, and bunches of leafy greens. Fishermen display their morning catch, gleaming tuna, parrotfish, and crabs, while the air is thick with the chatter of different languages and the negotiation of daily life. It is a place where the countryside comes to the city, a daily reminder of the two worlds that define this land, but leave the capital behind, and the rhythm of the day changes completely. Take the road north or east into what is known as La Brousse, the countryside, and the urban hum fades into a profound quiet. Here, the morning is not about traffic, but about the tide. It is not about the office, but about the garden, the sea, and the community. In a small town like Bourret on the west coast, the day might start with ranchers checking their cattle on vast, dry plains that feel more like the Australian outback than a tropical island. On the dramatic, humid east coast near Yengain, a fisherman is more likely checking his nets in a tranquil bay, his movements dictated by ancient knowledge of the water. Across the territory, these two realities exist side by side, often only a short drive apart: the urban, European-influenced world of Noumea and the rural, Melanesian world of the Brousse. To understand life here, you must understand both. For more than a century, the story of New Caledonia's economy has been the story of one thing: nickel. This small territory holds around a quarter of the world's known reserves. It has been the engine of development, the source of wealth, and the primary reason for the territory's high standard of living. The vast, red earth mines, scarred into the mountains, are a constant visual reminder of this dependence. But this dependence comes with immense risk. The industry is vulnerable to the boom and bust cycles of the global market. When prices are high, the economy thrives, money flows into Noumea, and there is a sense of optimism. When they crash, as they have done periodically, the entire territory holds its breath, and the talk of economic diversification becomes urgent once more. The environmental cost is also significant, with mining runoff posing a constant threat to the fragile ecosystems of the rivers and the World Heritage-listed lagoon. The three major nickel processing plants, one in the south and two in the north, are not just economic entities, they are political symbols, their ownership and operation central to the territory's efforts at economic rebalancing between the historically wealthy south and the less developed north. Underpinning all of this is the unique and often debated relationship with France. For decades, New Caledonian society has been shaped by the question of its political future: to remain part of the French Republic or to become an independent nation. This question has, at times, created deep divisions and violent conflict, the memory of which still lingers in the minds of the older generation. The Matignon and Noumea Accords, signed in 1988 and 1998, were landmark peace agreements that ended the conflict and established a path toward greater autonomy and a series of independence referendums. Today, the territory exists in this unique political space. France provides defense, justice, and, crucially, significant financial support, which underpins the public sector and social services. This financial lifeline, amounting to billions of euros annually, pays for the salaries of teachers, doctors, and civil servants, and funds the construction of roads, schools, and hospitals. It allows for a standard of living that would be difficult to maintain otherwise. But the local government has increasing autonomy over its own affairs. For ordinary people, this is not just a political debate discussed in faraway offices. It is about identity, security, and the kind of future they want for their children. It is a conversation that continues to shape this nation, a quiet but powerful current running beneath the surface of everyday life. The French connection is most visible in the details of daily life. Supermarkets are stocked with products shipped directly from France. The public health system is modeled on the French system, providing a high standard of care. The currency, the Pacific franc, is guaranteed by the French treasury, offering economic stability. For many who live here, these are not abstract political ties. They are the tangible benefits that shape their quality of life. But living in this specific version of a French city comes at a price. Housing is expensive and in short supply. The cost of living is one of the highest in the Pacific, and the modern, urban lifestyle of Noumea can feel a world away from the traditions and values that still anchor life for so many, just a short drive away. As the day draws to a close, the two rhythms of New Caledonia begin to converge toward a single, universal pace: the return home. In the city, the focus shifts from work to leisure. The beaches and waterfront parks at Anse-Vater and Baie des Citrons fill with families and friends enjoying the cool of the evening. Kite surfers and windsurfers catch the last of the trade winds, their colorful sails zipping across the water. People meet to prendre un verre, have a drink, at one of the many waterfront bars, the atmosphere relaxed and social. The lights of the city begin to twinkle along the bays, reflecting on the calm water. Office workers leave their buildings in Noumea. The afternoon traffic flows out of the city, a slow-moving river of headlights. School buses drop children off in quiet neighborhoods. The market vendors in Port Moselle pack away their unsold produce, their long day finished. The sounds of the city soften, replaced by the murmur of conversation from restaurant terraces and the gentle lapping of waves against the sea walls. Outside the city, the darkness comes quickly, and with it, a deep quiet. Life draws inward, toward the family, the home. The smoke from evening cooking fires rises from homes in the tribes, carrying the scent of burning wood and grilling fish. A family sits down to eat together, sharing stories from their day in a mix of French and their local Kanak language. In some communities, the men might gather at the Nakamal or a similar meeting place to talk and share stories under the stars. The sounds are of crickets and the distant ocean, not traffic. With no city lights to pollute the sky, the stars are brilliant, a vast glittering canopy that has watched over these islands for millennia. It is a reminder that despite the modern infrastructure, the political debates, and the economic pressures, much of life here is still governed by the simple, ancient cycles of day and night, of work and rest, of community and family. To truly understand New Caledonia, one must understand the world of the Kanak people, the indigenous inhabitants of these islands. Here, life is not organized around the individual, but around the family, the clan, and the land. These are not relics of the past. They are the living, breathing foundations of society. The most important values are rooted in la coutume, or custom. It is a complex system of social rules, ceremonies, and exchanges that governs relationships, marks important life events like births, marriages, and deaths, and resolves disputes. It is a way of showing respect, of maintaining balance within the community. When visiting another clan or asking for permission to enter their land, one makes a geste coutumier, a customary gesture. This involves offering a small gift, typically a piece of cloth or manu, a banknote to help with expenses, and perhaps some tobacco. But the most important part is the words spoken from the heart, explaining who you are, where you come from, and the purpose of your visit. It is a recognition of the host's connection to the land and their ancestors. The clan structure, led by a chief and a council of elders, remains the primary form of social organization in the tribes. Decisions are made collectively, with an emphasis on consensus and the well-being of the group. This traditional authority exists in parallel with the French administrative system of mayors and municipalities. Food is central to this social fabric. The yam is not just a vegetable. It holds a deep cultural significance, representing the ancestors, the clan, and life itself. The yam harvest is the most important time of the year, marked by ceremonies and celebrations. The sharing of a meal like bunya, a traditional celebratory dish where yams, taro, chicken, and fish are wrapped in banana leaves and cooked in an earth oven, is an act of communion, a way of reinforcing the bonds that tie everyone together. The land is everything. It is not a commodity to be bought and sold, but the home of the ancestors, the source of sustenance, and the very core of a clan's identity. To introduce yourself is to say where you are from, to connect yourself to a specific place on this earth. This profound connection to the land remains one of the most important and sometimes contentious issues in modern New Caledonia. The linguistic diversity is another pillar of Kanak identity. There are 28 distinct Kanak languages and numerous dialects spoken across the territory. While French is the language of government and education, in the tribes, people communicate in their own tongue, each one carrying a unique worldview and history. Preserving these languages is a constant challenge in a world dominated by French. The traditional architecture, especially the Grande Case or Chief's Hut, is a physical embodiment of the clan. Its towering conical roof, topped with a carved flèche-fêtière spire representing the founding ancestor, is a powerful symbol of the community's identity and its connection to the spiritual world. For the younger Kanak generation, life is a constant navigation between two worlds. They attend French schools, use social media, and seek jobs in the modern economy. But they remain deeply connected to their culture, their language, and the expectations of their community. It is a balancing act to succeed in the wider world without losing the identity that comes from this land. To live in Noumea is one experience. To live on the main islands, Bruce, is another. But to live in the Loyalty Islands, Lifu, Marais, and Uvea, is to know a different New Caledonia altogether. Here, Kanak culture is not just present, it is the very framework of life. The journey itself marks the transition. A short flight on a small propeller plane from Nouméa's domestic airport, or a long, slow journey on the overnight ferry, the Betico 2. This ferry is a cultural institution, a lifeline that carries people, food, cars, and supplies. On board, families spread out blankets, share meals, and the social atmosphere is a world away from an anonymous flight. Arriving on an island like Lifu, the largest of the three, the atmosphere is immediately different. The air feels softer, the pace of life slows to a walking rhythm, and the dominance of the French language gives way to the local Drehu tongue. Lifu is known for its vanilla plantations and stunning white sand beaches. Marais, to the south, is more rugged, famous for its avocado production and dramatic coral cliffs. Noumea, to the north, is a slender atoll, renowned for its 25-kilometer-long beach of pure white sand. Access to services is a major challenge. While there are schools and basic healthcare clinics for any specialized medical treatment, higher education, or a major shopping trip, people must travel to Noumea. A broken bone, a complicated childbirth, or a serious illness means an emergency medical evacuation flight. Job opportunities are limited, mostly in local government, teaching, or small-scale tourism. Many young people leave for the main island in search of work, often sending money back to support their families. But what may seem like a lack of development from the outside is also a source of strength. Community ties here are incredibly powerful. The church plays a central role in social life. Doors are never locked. Children are raised by the entire village. Life is safer, quieter, and deeply connected to nature and tradition. People stay or return after years in Noumea for this quality of life, for the sense of belonging that the big city cannot offer. This is the great paradox of New Caledonia. The opportunities of the modern world are concentrated in one place, but the roots of its oldest culture are strongest in another. For all its natural abundance, life in New Caledonia is expensive, extremely expensive. This is the unavoidable reality of living on a small, isolated island territory in the middle of the Pacific. Almost all manufactured goods, from electronics to clothing to cars, must be imported. Every item carries the added cost of shipping, import taxes, and limited local competition. This affects everything. A full tank of fuel can take a significant bite out of a weekly budget. A simple family meal using imported ingredients can cost twice what it would in France. The number on the price tag often feels disconnected from the item itself, a constant reminder of the vast ocean it had to cross. A block of French cheese can easily cost 1,000 Pacific francs, around €8, a litre of petrol hovers around 200 francs, and a basic internet subscription can be one of the most expensive in the world. The nickel industry provides thousands of well-paying jobs, both directly and indirectly. For many families, a job at the mine or the processing plant means a stable income, the ability to build a modern house, pay for a car, and send their children to university. It has been a pathway to prosperity. Today, there is a push to diversify. Tourism, agriculture, and aquaculture are growing, but they are small compared to the giant of nickel. The public sector, funded by both nickel revenues and transfers from France, remains the largest employer. This creates a two-tiered economy. There are the high salaries in mining and public administration, and then there are the much lower wages in retail, hospitality, and agriculture. This disparity contributes to significant social inequality. Housing in the Noumea area is the single largest expense for most households, with rent and property prices comparable to some cities in mainland France. This has led to a housing crisis, with informal settlements, or squats, growing on the outskirts of the city, where families live in makeshift homes without access to basic services. It is a stark contrast to the image of luxury villas and yachts often associated with the capital. Outside the capital, the relationship with money changes. People rely more on what they can grow, catch, or trade. A full garden and access to the sea can provide a different kind of wealth, one that is less dependent on the cash economy. There is a vibrant, informal economy, with people selling produce from their gardens, fish they've caught, or handmade crafts from roadside stalls to make extra cash. But even here, the need for fuel for a boat, school supplies for children, and modern medicine means the pressure of high prices is never far away. For many families, managing the household budget is a constant balancing act, a daily negotiation between the desire for a modern lifestyle and the economic realities of their island home. The ocean provides food, work, recreation, identity, and transportation. In the small coastal villages on the east coast of the main island, Grande Terre, life moves with the tide. Fishermen prepare their boats for a day on the lagoon, their work providing for their families and the local markets. They use a mix of modern techniques and traditional knowledge, understanding the currents, the reefs, and the secret fishing spots as a form of wealth passed from father to son. Some still use ancient stone fish traps, their walls visible at low tide, a testament to a sustainable relationship with the sea that has lasted for centuries. Even in the urban center of Noumea, the sea is an escape. After work, the bays fill with people jogging, windsurfing, and relaxing on the beach. On weekends, the water is dotted with sailboats and motorboats as families head out to the nearby islets for picnics and swimming. This weekend, Exodus is a core part of the lifestyle for those who can afford a boat, a way to decompress from city life and reconnect with the natural world. But this natural wonder is fragile. The lagoon faces threats from nickel mining runoff, which can smother the coral reefs in sediment, as well as from urban development and agricultural pollution. The tension between protecting this UNESCO World Heritage Site and the economic activities that sustain the population is a constant challenge. For the people of New Caledonia, the lagoon is not just a beautiful backdrop, it is a shared backyard, a source of both tranquility and adventure, and a vital resource whose health is directly linked to their own. After all the challenges, the high cost of living, the isolation, the economic uncertainty, the complex social questions, the most important question remains: why do people choose to call this place home? For some, it is the unbreakable bond of family and community. It is the comfort of knowing you belong, of being part of a clan, a history, a place where your ancestors are buried. It is a sense of identity that cannot be found anywhere else on Earth. It is the feeling of being known, of being part of a web of relationships that stretches back generations. For the Caldoche rancher, it is a profound connection to the land itself. He might say, "My great-grandfather cleared this land. This is the only home we've ever known. Our history is written in this red earth." It is a fierce, protective love for a homeland built through generations of hard work. For a French metro who came for a 2-year contract and never left, the reason might be different. I found a quality of life here, a connection to nature that I couldn't imagine leaving. My children were born here. This is their home now, and so it has become mine. And for a young Kanak woman who has returned from studying in France, it is a sense of duty and belonging. I could have stayed in Europe, but my place is here. My family, my clan, they need me. My story is here, and I want to be part of writing the next chapter. New Caledonia is not one story, but many. It is the story of Kanak resilience and cultural pride. It is the story of French pioneers and their descendants who carved out a life far from Europe. It is the story of all the communities who have come here seeking opportunity and found a home. It is a place of negotiation between the past and the future, between Melanesian tradition and French modernity, between the land and the economy. Beyond the headlines, the politics, and the picture postcard beauty, this is the real story of New Caledonia, the story of people building ordinary lives together in one of the most extraordinary places in the Pacific.